Start comparing your life. If nobody has told you, comparison actually has beauty in it. Hi guys, I am Revel and welcome to my channel where we discuss health, fitness and wellness all around. Right, so today I want to discuss how comparison actually can help you. Now, most people are familiar with the saying, comparison is the steal of joy. However, comparison can be used as a great tool and a metric for where it is you want to go in life and things that you would like to achieve and accomplish. Most people see comparison as, reality versus fantasy. They tell themselves that people post stuff on social media and they're living a fantasy life. It's not real. But I'm here to tell you that people are actually happy. People are actually living real lives. People are actually successful in their jobs. People are actually going to school and getting educated. People are actually loving becoming parents. People are actually loving the idea of traveling and actually being able to travel. And people try to diminish that by making you feel like you shouldn't compare your life to others. You shouldn't want better for yourself. You shouldn't want good things. And this is what is going to make you stay in a stagnant and stuck position. But when you actually compare certain things, you are able to adapt and improve and change. And change is important in life. We are all supposed to change. We are not supposed to feel like we're gonna stay stuck and there's not going to be any progress, right? So comparison is a really, really good tool. So let me explain to you how comparison should be done. So one of the first things you want to do to be able to successfully compare yourself to others and compare things that you are doing is be able to sit down and write down what are your values and what are your morals and what you view success as. Success is it is perspective, and everyone's idea of success is different. We live in a diverse world where everyone is not the same. Everybody have their unique perspectives, they have their unique beliefs, they have their unique morals and their cultures and traditions that they stand true to themselves. So once you are able to list out what these perspectives and values are to you, you are now able to navigate around the world when you compare yourself to other people, or when you compare what it is you want to do to what other people are doing already, right? So you are now able to determine what you can keep and what you reject, and that is the beauty in comparison. You have to be able to determine what you can take and what you can reject, and that is the issue where most people go wrong. Most people do not know how to take certain things and reject what does not serve them. You only accept what serves you. You only take what helps you to grow and develop, right? So with comparison, if you're trying to go from one place to another, right? And here there is someone who is more successful than you. So when comparing, you actually list out all the things that you want to change within yourself, within your system, within your processes, the resources. And it is very critical, it is very important to understand that people that compare themselves must know that everybody have a different starting point. Everybody have different accessibility to different resources, to different challenges. The challenges you may face, I may face challenges that is entirely different. So once a person is able to internalize these information, comparison becomes a beautiful tool to use, and not something that is going to make you feel depressed, not something that is going to make you feel worse about your situation, not something that is going to make you feel bad, but something that is going to shed light on information in your life, because you are now being exposed to different environments through whether it's social media or in person. You are now exposed to information that is going to help you in a grand way. And most people, they just run around with the phrase comparison is the thief of joy, but they themselves are comparing themselves to different things every single day. we are comparing things on a regular and a daily basis. Now, let me explain to you how this relates to health and wellness. Or here there is someone who has more knowledge or something on a particular topic. This person is now sharing certain nuggets of their life. They are now able to give you a change of opinion. They are now able to give you resources, strategies, tactics, information that you were not privy to before. So with this newfound information, right, you are now able to compare what it is you had and what it is they had, and you are now able to say, okay, with this information I can now re-strategize, I can now go back to the drawing board, I can now determine how I can make a change. And this is the beauty of social media now. Back in the day, you know, comparison wasn't really such a big thing because there were no social media to compare your life to anybody else's, unless they were in close proximity to you. But now with social media, where everyone is posting their successes and even their failures, people see comparison as a negative thing. But this is what helps you to grow often. Or here there is someone who has more knowledge or something on a particular topic. This person is now sharing certain nuggets of their life. They are now able to give you a change of opinion. They are now able to give you resources, strategies, tactics, information that you were not privy to before. So with this newfound information, right, you are now able to compare what it is you had and what it is they had, and you are now able to say, okay, with this information I can now re-strategize, I can now go back to the drawing board, I can now determine how I can make a change. And this is the beauty of social media now. Back in the day, comparison wasn't really such a big thing because there were no social media to compare your life to anybody else's, unless they were in close proximity to you. But now with social media, where everyone is posting their successes and even their failures, people see comparison as a negative thing. But this is what helps you to grow oftentimes. It's important to know that each and every one of us have our own purpose here on earth. God has given each and every one of us a purpose. So when it comes to our purpose, it's quite important that we understand that we cannot compare certain things that we are supposed to do individually, collectively with other people. Right? Let me explain this further. So for example, God may have called you to do healing, right? With your healing journey, you can't compare your healing journey to someone else whose purpose is called to teaching and education. Everyone's journey is quite unique and quite different, but the comparison comes in where we can learn from each other, even if they have different purposes, even if it is they are in different industries, even if it is they are in different spaces and environment. We are now able to take this information, internalize it, and use it for greater good, use it for our growth and development. It is not about just looking at other people's lives and competing and thinking, well, I'm living a shitty lifestyle, I'm poor, I'm hungry, I'm broke, busted, and disgusted, right? And there's nothing going for me. Yes, you may have certain disadvantages as compared to the other person. However, you could use this as inspiration for where it is you want to go in life, and you can start taking that information now and applying it to actually become better. It's important. Everyone has their own unique experiences, everyone has their own unique resources, everyone has their own unique support system. There's a saying that some people were born with a gold spoon in their mouth. In the Caribbean we say that, and that's basically where a person may have inherited a certain amount of wealth and information and guidance and direction and stuff from their parents or grandparents or from their village or their community. Now, you on the other hand may not have had this privilege of having resources, and resources can be various things. Resources could be monetary, it could be land, it could be an education. Not everybody have the same unique resources. However, this is where the beauty in comparison comes, right? And this is how we're supposed to see it. When you look at someone who has the resources, who has the direction, who has the guidance and certain provisions, you should now be able to determine and say, well, you know what, I'm going to use this as a guide now for me. I didn't have that guide, so I'm going to use your life or certain aspects of your life as a guide to inspire and motivate and empower me to do better, empower me to adapt and to change, because we are subconsciously always comparing ourselves to others. Based on the environments that we are around or the people that we are close to, we are always comparing ourselves, and it is never always in a negative light. Sometimes it is to inspire and to do better. Sometimes it's from a sole purpose of becoming a better person or better, guys. And if it is that comparison was so bad, then why are organizations constantly doing competitive analysis? Why are they constantly doing benchmarking? This is because they are now looking at what their opposition is doing, and they are trying to learn, because they may have had exposure to a person's resources and things that would give them the advantage, and everyone wants their unique advantage. So this is why comparison is so great. I mean, there are some negative effects of comparison, and I will do a video on that, on the disadvantages of comparing yourself to others. But as for now, we're discussing how comparison is actually also a good thing. There's such a unique beauty in comparing yourself and things to others, not to diminish yourself, not to distort your identity or distort it any further, because a lot of times our identity is already distorted. Hence, we can see comparison as a negative tool. It's because we already have a distorted identity. If your identity is wholesome, you would not see comparison as a completely negative tool. You would see it as a benefit. You would actually see comparison as a way to improve, to become better, to make positive changes, to adapt. But guys, in life, we all must change. Change is inevitable. If we don't change, we just die. We don't reach any pinnacle of success. And again, success is completely what you define it to be, because everyone's idea of success is very different. So based on what you think success is, you would now create your own parameters around your idea of success. But it is very important that we understand that comparison can be used to benefit you once done correctly. Understand that your identity is what is going to make you accept or reject comparison. If you have if you are able to coherently think, you'll be able to accept it, because you would understand that you're not comparing your personal life towards against any other person. You are actually comparing the information, the direction, the guidance, the provision, the resources. You are comparing these things, and you are trying to figure out how you can change and adapt and adopt and implement. So guys, as it relates to your mental health, it is recommended that you only compare the systems and the structures and the processes that you now want to change or adapt in your life to make your life better. As I mentioned before, when it comes to stuff like health and wellness, you compare what it is you are doing to what others are doing. Now, it is so crucial that we understand that we absolutely do not have to accept everything that someone says or does. We take what we think is applicable to us, We take what we think is it aligns with our values and our morals, and we are now able to apply these areas for a better life. We don't just take everything someone says or does and apply and implement. This is where mental health comes in. This is where, people begin to self destruct or distort their identities, because they are now trying to picture their life as the person and not the aspects of it that help them become that person. You have to know when to chew the meat and spit out the bones. You have to know when to chew the meat and spit out the bones. Please, I'm begging you. Chew the meat, spit out the bones. You don't accept everything. You take what you need and you reject everything else. And even when you take what you need, you still have to now analyze this to see and determine if this is suitable for you, if it can work for you. So guys, and one last thing, guys, everybody is not suffering. Everybody is not faking and projecting on social media. Everybody is not going through hardship. Everybody is not going through a hard time. Everybody is not pretending to be happy. Everybody goes through ups and downs. Life is about ebbs and flows, and one of the biggest misconceptions is that, when people post their wins, why would they post their downs? Why would they post their negatives? And some people do, but people vilify you when you refuse to post the negative aspects on your life, because you don't want to make that a part of your identity. Yes, it is part of it is part of your journey and a part of what made you become who you are today, but people are willing to just share the positive sides on it so that they can share inspiration and motivation to others. People are not always living a fake life. People can be happy in their jobs. People can be happy in their families and their work life and all these different things. People can be traveling, eating nice, doing all these things. So if this you want to compare your life to them and you see it as an inspiration, that is a positive thing. Find a way to self-soothe. Find a way to dig yourself out of the hole that you are in. The comparison might actually be more beneficial to you than just saying that comparison is a thief for joy. See it as a way of inspiration. Don't let it become a part of bitterness and dissatisfaction and entitlement and pride, where you want to use it against them. Use it to help build you. Take the resources, take the information, take the knowledge, and let it help you. So guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share my page for more videos like these. I love you guys to life, and we'll see you in the next video on comparison.